Hey guys, Kyle, the Death Knight of Anime here, bringing you my review for Fire Force Episode 10. And I'm not gonna lie, this episode was interesting for me because in a lot of ways it was a good episode. But even despite it being a good episode, there were more than a few things about it that really kind of stuck out to me as questioning on David Production's part in terms of why did they make this decision, why did they make that decision, like stuff like that. And and to start off with this, let's talk about the major reveal in the episode, which is that Shinra's little brother Sho is not only alive but also a commander among the Ash and Flame or White-Clads, whatever you want to call them. And I'm not gonna lie, this is the first real this is the first real kind of flop or mishandled scene of the anime for me. Like the anime has been pretty steadily good for me, but even despite the limitations that David Productions had to be put under, considering what happened, but. This is like the first real scene where I'm like, okay, David Productions, you pretty much, you really kind of flopped on this one, and 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 the reason why I'm saying this is a mishandled scene is because because in the manga, what happened is they pretty much gave us how the manga handled that pretty much whole major reveal at the end with seeing Sho as one of the commanders of the Ash and Flame. In the manga, they pretty much gave us the pretty much reveal even before Joker had told Shinra that pretty much Sho was one of the Ashen Flames commanders. But here, the David Productions in the anime, they pretty much do things completely backwards, but by basically unloading all the exposition on us, then pretty much giving us the basically official reveal of what Sho's become. Giving us the official reveal of what Sho's become at the end of the episode. And by that point, it's lost. It's definitely lost a little bit more of the shock value. The shock value because they pretty much saved it for pretty much the end of the episode. I mean, I get why they saved it. It's obviously. I mean, I get why they saved it, and they did a good. I'll be honest, they did a decent job at building up like pretty much the doubt around like whether or not Sho is actually a member of the Ashen Flame, but just in general, just that pretty much reveal of Sho, it's one of those scenes where I get why they did it, but it was also a scene where they pretty much needed to follow where there's very where there's a limitation on how artistic you can be with the adaptation, and this is one of those times where I almost feel they should have like pretty much. Where I feel that they pretty much should have done it like pretty much page for page, like had done the. I get they had split it up into the first section of Joker confronting Shinra, and then cut to Sho's reveal, and then the second part of the Joker and Shinra conversation. Like that's pretty much how it went in the manga, and I feel it just would have worked better if they did it like that over how they did it here. I'm probably wrong, but maybe I'm wrong, and people are gonna probably disagree with me. But yeah, for me, David Productions really just really kind of botched the whole Sho reveal. To be honest with you, it was fun. They really botched the whole Sho reveal in terms of building it up and whatnot. Now, having said that, the one thing I can really give the Sho reveal is that to me it was a lot more threatening in the anime than in the manga. Like in the manga, don't get me wrong, it was a shocking reveal, but I never really got any kind of a threatening presence from him, I guess you could say. But here in the anime, what they did is the French artists, the artists really they pretty much they went to work in saying, okay, obviously it isn't going to be it probably isn't going to be as shocking anymore, but at the very least we can pretty much make Sho look threatening, and they definitely did, because the artists they gave him this pure white appearance, which made him both angelic and demonic at the same time, which again, it made me look at him as much more threatening here than in the manga. And yeah, let's talk about that one word. All those like monks were said at the end of the episode, latom, which is a word that obviously all the sisters use. So all the sisters and priests use and whatnot in the Fire Force. So this pretty much. So I think even though it's one word, I think this pretty much tells us that more or less this isn't so much a thing of two separate conflicting forces, but it's more likely what the Fire Force is fighting is a force that's working inside what Company 8 and all the others are fighting is a force that's working inside the hierarchy of Tokyo and whatnot. So yeah, we're gonna see. I think there's a chance we're gonna see a lot of people probably like turning against the Fire Force from this point on. So pacing wise, as I said, it was a pretty good episode, but pretty much just like the pretty much show revealed, there are still problems with it. For example, and a lot of that is just based on some weird decisions that David Production made again. Like for example, that beginning part where the anime's opening with that beginning part even before the anime's opening, that was anime's opening with Company 8 just goofing around felt really pointless, even by the standards of just giving us character interaction. And yeah, like just that beginning part, there felt like there was no purpose to it, and it was nothing more than a throwaway scene you could have cut out, and you could have cut that scene out completely in the beginning, and you wouldn't have missed anything. The other reason I bring this up is because I feel we are kind of reaching a crossroads where we should probably expect the pacing to start slowing down a little, slowing down a little because I think we are starting to get to a point where we're really starting to, in order to dive deep into the really heavy stuff. So I think David Productions for now they want to avoid like getting into any of the heavy stuff unless they've worked past or they would happen with KyoAni or whatnot. But yeah, so I think that one of two situations here, we're either going to start slowing down or we're going to start speeding up, or we're starting to speeding up just a little bit. I'm not sure which, but either way, it should be interesting to see where they kind of take it and where they take it and what kind of choices that they're going to make, because we are headed into some heavy stuff, and I don't know how much David Productions is from still like from even allowed to show, honestly, on screen. The other thing is that there were a few scenes here and there that were cut out, but I'm willing to be a little more lenient on that and say that the majority of the other scenes that were cut were the scenes that were just repeating things we knew, or scenes that, looking back, were kind of force feeding us to hit the hidden motivations of certain characters. And while there were still moments like that, I feel by from cutting out just kind of a scene or two like this, I felt the episode. I thought there was a little more subtlety with the way the episode was executed in these moments compared to the manga. Now, having said all that, we basically get introduced to all the other Fire Force captains, and the fact that David Production did avoid animating that little fight scene I mentioned last week, and just in general avoiding any early introductions of the other Fire Force captains like in the manga, tells me that they were pretty much saving it. They were saving any of that stuff for this one big reveal, I think. The other thing, now the last thing I'm going to mention about the pacing adaptation is that, if memory serves, that whole dinner scene from Shinra telling Company 8 about his brother wasn't supposed to happen until much later into the series. I think it didn't happen until after the conflict with pretty much Show. So yeah, David Production They went into some weird territory with that one. I don't know what they were thinking by pretty much adding a scene that wasn't supposed to happen until later, but yeah, I don't know how it's gonna I don't know how it's gonna work now with that, but we'll have to wait and see. Um, so we basically get now we pretty much get a pretty big reveal that when it comes to the Dola Burst in this episode. Some of it I already talked about previously, like how it's an ability that's strictly limited to third generations, but even among those it's a rarity. But the other major thing we learn is that the power of the Dola Burst is essentially the energy source that fuels the entirety of the Tokyo Empire through that like pretty much fire pretty much energy power plant. And two things to say on this. The first is that I don't know if it was intentional or not, but I can't deny when it comes to this whole concept of the Amarat of the power plant and whatnot. I feel there's a little bit of social commentary there in terms of humanity's like reliance on finite resources and how our reliance on finite resources can lead to our dependence on it and like in recent years it's led to our desperation. That dependence has led to a desperation for it almost. So yeah, I think so. Yeah, I don't know if the social commentary there was intentional, but I can't deny it was still kind of there as well. And because yeah, we have to admit that the whole finite resource thing, like the whole Dola Burst, like fueling this power plant with the Dola Burst, it is a finite resource because only pretty much so few people actually have this power. So yeah. It is like in its own way a finite resource, and the second thing is the fact that this power plant is already being focused on, and specifically the fact that the Dola Burst is the thing that's powering it. It's already telling us pretty much that yeah, at some point the power plant is going to go boom. I forget. I'd have to read forward in order to see if that's already happened in the manga, but yeah, it's inevitable at some point that thing is basically going to blow, and the White-Clads, the Ash and Flame, whatever they're called, they're going to be the ones who do it. Now, and because at the end of the day, we have to remember from basically last week, I think those two guys pretty much declared that they're going to bring everything back to the flame or something like that. So, yeah, it kind of fits now. Now with the getting back to the captains themselves and their introduction, I posed this little bit of manga insight to you all. Of all the 8 captains that we got introduced to in this chapter, one of these captains is not like the others. Can you guess which one it is? And it's not the one you think. It's not the one you think. Like the most you never really like that. That's all I'm gonna say to you guys. Which one of these captains is just pretty much does not fit in here, in this lineup. On that. And on that note, the episode also gave us our first major look at Fire Force Company 7 and how they're arguably one of the more black sheep companies, at least in comparison to pretty much all, at least comparison to pretty much all the other like Fire Force companies we've seen. Like most of the Fire Force companies seem very like pretty much formal in the way they dress and in the way they talk, everything about them. But with Fire Force Company 8, it's definitely a little bit more of a laid back company for sure, and just have a little bit more of an aggressive attitude towards like the whole system and whatnot. So that in itself, it puts Company 7 into the limelight for I seem like for what we can assume that the next big major arc. So but yeah, guys, that's my review. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram Crunchyroll. Dead Night of Enemy, signing off. Later, guys.